Good afternoon. So, the point is rectangular waveguide. So, any shape of cross section of waveguide can support electromagnetic waves, of which rectangular and circular waveguides have become more common. So, waveguide having a rectangular cross section is known as rectangular waveguide. Diagram for this rectangular waveguide is shown here. So, rectangular waveguides were one of the popular types of transmission lines. The rectangular waveguides were used to send a microwave signal, and till date they are used for many applications. The number of different components like couplers, attenuators, detectors, isolator and slotted lines are available for different standard waveguide bands of frequency range from 1 to 220 GHz. Because of the attraction towards integration, the most modern microwave circuitry is being modified by using planar transmission lines like strip lines and microstrip instead of waveguide. However, still there is a necessity of waveguides. In several circuitry like high power system, satellite system, millimeter wave application and some precision test applications, the hollow rectangular waveguide can support TM and TE modes, but it does not support TEM wave because only one conductor is available in rectangular waveguide. It supports both TE and TM mode, but it does not support TEM because only one conductor is available in the rectangular waveguide. So TE and TM mode of rectangular waveguide have cutoff frequencies below which propagation is not occurred. So this diagram shows, here are the dimensions of the waveguide which determine the operating frequency range. So for TE mode, it is assumed that for TE mode, it is assumed that the rectangular waveguide is filled with permeability mu and permittivity epsilon, and for the it is standard notation to carry the longest side of the waveguide along the x-axis so that A greater than B. So TE mode are characterized by Ez equal to 0, that is, the Z component of magnetic field Hz must available to have energy transmission in the rectangular waveguide. There are basically 4 boundary conditions for the TE wave, as the TE waves are for TE wave Ez is 0, but it has a component along the x and y direction. Here Ex is 0 for all along bottom and top walls of the waveguide, and Ey is 0 for all left and right walls of the waveguide. So first boundary condition is Ex 0 at y equal to b for all values of x from 0. Ex is second boundary condition, Ex is 0 at y equal to b for all values of x from 0 to a. And third condition, Ey is 0 at x equal to 0 for all values of y from 0 to b. And fourth condition, boundary condition is Ey is 0 at x equal to a for all the values of y from 0 to b. So these are the four boundary conditions for the TE waves. Now guide wavelength is one more concept, that is lambda g. Guide wavelength, that is lambda g, is defined as the distance to distance covered by the wave in order to undergo a phase shift of 2 pi radian or 180 degree. It is defined as the distance covered by the wave in order to undergo a phase shift of 2 pi radian or 180 degree. So lambda g is related to phase constant, and it is expressed as lambda g is equal to 2 pi by beta. The wavelength in the waveguide is different than the wavelength in the free space. In fact, lambda g is related to the free space wavelength denoted by lambda g, and cutoff wavelength is denoted by lambda c. Now, what is phase velocity? The wave propagates in the waveguide if guide wavelength lambda g is larger than the free space wavelength, that is lambda 0. As the velocity of propagation is the product of lambda and f, in waveguide it is expressed as lambda g into f. Though the speed of light is equal to the product of lambda 0 and f, the phase velocity is larger than the speed of light because lambda g is greater than lambda 0. Also, the wavelength in the guide is the length of the cycle and phase velocity is the velocity of the wavelength in the guide is the length of the cycle. So the phase velocity is defined as the rate at which the wave changes its phase in terms of guide wavelength. Phase velocity is defined as the rate at which wave changes its phase in terms of guide wavelength. So phase velocity is equal to lambda 0 divided by unit time. So these are some concepts related to the rectangular waveguide in TE mode. Now, what is group velocity? When there is a modulation in the carrier, the modulation envelope actually travel at velocity smaller than of carrier alone and slower than the speed of light. The velocity of modulation envelope is referred as the group velocity, and it is denoted as Vg. So this happens when modulated signal passes in the waveguide, the modulation enter into slipping backward with respect to carrier Vg. The group velocity is defined as the rate at which wave propagate through the waveguide and Group velocity is the rate at which wave propagate through the waveguide. Now attenuation and power loss in rectangular waveguide. The attenuation happen because of the dielectric loss or the conductor loss in rectangular waveguide. Attenuation happen because of either dielectric loss or the conductor loss in rectangular waveguide. The conductor loss is measured by using the perturbation method. Now for TM mode, the TM mode are characterized by Hz0 and Ez not equal to 0. So there are also 4 boundary conditions for TM wave, as the complete surface of rectangular waveguide acts as a short circuit or ground for electric field Ez0 all along the boundary walls of the waveguide. The first boundary condition is that it is applied to the bottom plane or the bottom wall. So Ez is 0 all along the bottom wall, small z is 0 at y equal to 0 for all the values from x from 0 to a. Second boundary condition, it is applied to the left side of the plane or the left side wall. Third boundary condition is it is applied to the top of the plane or top wall. And fourth boundary condition is it is applied to the right side of the plane or the right side wall, that is Ez is 0 at x equal to a for all values of y from 0 to b. The TM mode in rectangular waveguides are depending on the values of m and n. It is possible to have the different modes in TM mode, that is TM00 mode, TM01 mode, TM10 mode and TM11 mode. So TM00 mode is here m and n values both are 0. So all of the field vanishes and hence TM00 mode cannot exist. TM01 means m is 0, n is 1. Again all the field components vanish and thus TM01 mode does not exist. For TM10, M1 and 0, this also does not exist, and TM11 means m value is 1, n value is 1. So all 4 field components does exist for all greater values of m and n. All these 4 field components like Ex, Ey, Hx, Hy does exist. Next, group velocity in the TM mode. So group velocity is defined as the rate at which wave propagate through the waveguide, and it is defined as the rate at which wave propagate through the waveguide. Phase velocity means the wave propagate in the waveguide if guide wavelength, that is lambda g, is larger than the free space wavelength, that is lambda 0. So as the velocity of propagation is the product of lambda and f, now what about the TEM wave? We have already seen the TE mode and TM mode in rectangular wave. Now what is about the TEM wave? Here the TEM wave are not supported by the rectangular waveguide. Now why this? Because the trans electromagnetic wave has 3 components: electric field, magnetic field and direction of propagation mutually perpendicular. Such a TEM wave is not able to pass within a single conductor hollow waveguide. The electric field would be short circuited by the walls of rectangular waveguide because the walls of rectangular waveguide acts as a perfect conductor and thus no potential can exist across them. So moreover, the propagation of TEM wave is not possible through the rectangular waveguide because TEM wave has no axial component of either E or H and in TEM mode. For example, TEM wave exists inside a hollow guide of any shape. Then the line of H field must stay entirely in the transverse plane. Since delta into H dot H is 0, the line of H field will be closed loop in plane perpendicular to the axis. The magnetomotive force and around this closed loop must be equal the conduction as the displacement current or axial current through the loop. For a hollow rectangular waveguide, this axial current must be an axial displacement current which needs an axial component of E. This however is not exist inside a TEM wave, hence the TEM wave is not able to pass through inside a hollow rectangular waveguide. So the dimensions of the waveguide which determine the operating frequency range. The size of the waveguide determine its operating frequency range. The frequency of the operation is determined by the dimension A. This dimension is usually made equal to 1/2 the wavelength at the lowest frequency of the operation, and this frequency is known as the waveguide cutoff frequency. At the cutoff frequency and below, the waveguide will not transmit energy. At frequencies above the cutoff frequency, the waveguide will propagate energy. At cutoff frequency and below, waveguide will not transmit energy, and at frequencies above cutoff, the waveguide will propagate the energy. Now, the wave path in waveguide at various frequency. The diagram shows the wave path in the waveguide at various frequencies. So first diagram shows at high frequency, second diagram shows at medium frequency, third one at low frequency, and the fourth diagram shows at cutoff frequency, the wave path in waveguide at cutoff frequency. Now cutoff frequency, the exact size of the waveguide is selected based on the desired operating frequency. The size of the waveguide is chosen so that its rectangular width is greater than one half the wavelength but less than one wavelength at operating frequency, and this gives a cutoff frequency which is below the operating frequency, thereby ensuring that the signal will be propagated down the line. Then representation of the modes. The general symbol of representation mode will be TMN, TEMN, TMMN, where subscript M indicates number of half wave variations of the electric field intensity along the B dimension of the waveguide. M is number of half wave variations of the electric field. The second subscript N indicates number of half wave variations of the electric field in A, that is narrow dimension of the guide. TE10, we have seen this mode. TE10 mode, it has the longest operating wavelength and it is designed as the dominant mode. It is the mode for the lowest frequency can be propagated in the waveguide. Then the second subscript n. What is n? N indicate the number of half-wave variation of the electric field in A, that is narrow dimension of the guide. So TE10 has the longest operating wavelength and it is designated as the dominant mode. So it is the mode for the lowest frequency that can be propagated in a waveguide. Now next is the general solution for TEM, TE and TM mode. We have seen some part of the general solution in the previous lecture. Now the general solution to the Maxwell's equation for the specific cases of TEM, TE and TM mode, TM wave propagation in cylindrical transmission lines or the waveguides. So your diagram for the general two conductor transmission line is shown, and the second diagram is the closed waveguide. Now here assume Ej omega t dependence. The equations for the E bar and H bar are given here. Your E of xy and H of xy transfers xy, E and H field components. Ez hz are longitudinal E and H field components. Now the wave impedance of TEM mode. Equations for the wave impedance of TEM mode are also given here. ZTM Ex by Hy and minus EY by Hx. So these are the equations for wave impedance of TEM mode. Now there is a procedure for analyzing the TEM line. So we have to solve the Laplace equation, then find this constant by applying the BC for the known voltage on the conductor. Now for TE waves, it is characterized by Ez0 and Hz is not equal to 0. Also, here the equations for Hx and Hy and Ex and Ey are given. Here equations for Hx, Hy and Ex, Ey are given. So equation for the beta is given for Kc not equal to 0, and the propagation is generally a function of the frequency and geometry of the line of guide. For TM waves also Hx, Hy, Ex, Ey equations are given. Now procedure for analyzing TE and TM wave is given here. So the stepwise procedure for analyzing TEM wave is that first solve the step 1 is solve the Laplace equation. The solution has many unknown constant. Then by applying the boundary conditions, this constant can be found for known voltage on the conductor. Then find E bar and capital E bar, and also H bar and capital H bar. Then we have to find the value of Vi from the equation, and the propagation constant is expressed by the beta, which is equal to V by I. Now next stepwise procedure for analyzing the TE and TM mode. First we have to solve reduce the Helmholtz equation for Hz or Ez. Then solution will have many unknown constant and unknown cutoff wave number, that is Kc. So then step 2 is find the transverse field from the Hz or Hz and Ez. Then step 3 is put the boundary conditions to suitable field components to find the unknown constant and Kc. And step 4 is the propagation constant is expressed by Kc square is equal to K square minus beta square and the wave impedance. So this is a stepwise procedure. Now, attenuation may be produced by either a conductor loss or the dielectric loss in waveguide or transmission line. So, consider alpha d is the attenuation constant because of the dielectric loss, and alpha c is the attenuation constant because of the conductor loss. So, total attenuation is alpha d plus alpha c, and attenuation produced by the conductor loss depends on the field distribution in the guide, so calculated independently for each type of waveguide or transmission line. When the transmission line or waveguide is fully filled with a homogeneous dielectric, the attenuation constant because of lossy dielectric material may be measured from the propagation constant, and it will be suitable for any waveguide or line with a homogeneous dielectric filling. So practically dielectric material have a small losses, which is tan of delta is very less than 1, so it can be simplified by considering the two terms of the Taylor expansion. Now here are the main properties of several waveguiding system. So the different systems are two-wire line, coaxial line, strip line, microstrip line, rectangular waveguide, circular waveguide, fiber optic. Now for two-wire line, the wave type used is, for two-wire coaxial and strip line, the wave type used is TEM wave, and the EM shielding used for the two-wire line is poor. For coaxial it is good. Then waveband is also given here, needs are given. For microstrip line, the wave type is quasi TEM wave and EM shielding is poor. For rectangular waveguide, the wave type is TU or TM. Here TEM waveguide is not used, wave type is not used, and EM shielding is good. For circular also TE and TM EM shielding is good, and for fiber optic also TE and or TM wave types are used and EM shielding is poor. For fiber optic only, the wave band is optical wave. Now next is the cavity resonator. Next point is the cavity resonator. So here the diagram for the cavity resonators are shown. So the cavity resonators are metallic enclosures. The cavity resonators store the electromagnetic energy within it. The cavity resonator is a piece of closed off waveguide at both ends with a metallic plate. The magnetic energy and the electric energy of the wave retain the inductance, capacitance, and finite conductivity of the wall as the well resistance. The cavity resonators are used as a resistance tuned circuit at microwave frequencies. When waveguide is transmitted with a conducting end walls, then reflections or standing wave will occur when a source is placed between the walls. These standing waves or reflecting waves are in the form of oscillations with the condition So the condition that is that the distance between the end walls must be n lambda g by 2, where what is n? N stands for the integer. So it means that both the end walls should be separated by a distance of multiple of lambda g by 2. So your waveguide will act as a resonator, and there will be a resonance in the cavity space or hollow space. If first wall is located in a waveguide, there will be a standing wave, and the second wall should be placed in such a way that it should not disturb the pattern because of the first wall. These oscillators are obtained, so this acts as a LC tuned circuit. These oscillations are retained when the energy is continuously supplied. The cavity resonators can resonate at only one specific frequency, like parallel resonant circuit. Though every cavity resonator has an infinite number of resonant frequency, but all these frequencies are not permitted to produce oscillations. So the waveguide may be a rectangular or circular. The microwave cavity resonator is like a tuned circuit at low frequency containing resonant frequency. So F0 is equal to 1 by 2 pi square root of LC. The cavity resonator may resonate at only one certain frequency, like parallel resonance circuit. For an available resonator and mode A, B, M and N are the constant, hence lambda C is also constant, and lambda 0 will include a fixed value. But lambda 0 is C by F0, and F also has a fixed value equal to F0. So F0 is resonant frequency of the cavity resonator. Now what is rectangular cavity resonator? The rectangular cavity resonator are closed hollow rectangular metallic boxes along with the silvered inner walls for high conductivity and quality factor Q. This system is symmetrical, meeting the boundary conditions because there is no propagation. This system satisfies the boundary conditions regarding a normal magnetic field and tangential electric field. The tangential component of the electric field at perfect boundary condition is 0. According to EM theory, that is electromagnetic theory, the tangential component of the electric field must be continuous at the surface boundary, and electric field intensity E is 0 inside a conductor. So tangent component of E must be 0 outside the area of the conductor. If it was not 0, the electric field E will produce a voltage generating ohmic loss, rather the condition of a perfect conductor. So the electric field lines will be perpendicular to the two planes. The normal component of magnetic field is 0. The component of magnetic field being perpendicular to the electric field. Later it becomes perpendicular to the conductor surface and it will be completely along the conductor. By putting these conditions to cavity resonator, the tangential electric field will be 0 at the four walls of waveguide. There is a circular cavity resonator also. So the circular resonant cavity is a circular waveguide along with both ends enclosed. Here the distance between two walls is multiple of lambda g by 2. The feature of the circular resonator is that it is very selective and high quality factor as a Q. The smoke ring mode TM01 has less attenuation and it is big asset for circular cavity waveguide. There are some disadvantages of the circular waveguide over rectangular waveguide. The frequency difference between the dominant mode and next higher mode is less, so the bandwidth of circular waveguide is small. The circular symmetry generate the possibility of electromagnetic waves at the cost of its losing polarization throughout the length of the guide, though the small perturbation in the dimension suggests the direction of E field. The area of circular waveguide is 2.16 times longer as compared to rectangular waveguide for same operating frequency. So quality factor of cavity resonator, quality factor is denoted by Q of parallel resonant circuit or any resonant circuit which is measure of frequency selectivity. So quality factor Q of an ideal cavity resonator is infinite because in perfect conductor forming the cavity our average power loss P would be 0 and also once activated it would resonate forever. This resonator resonant at only one particular frequency. If there are more than resonant frequencies, there will be a various values of Q for different values of frequency. Generally, the coupling loops are useful to couple the energy in and out of cavity resonator, and this coupling results in imperfectly reflecting wall, and so it is finite termination or load of the cavity. This may change the value of Q. This Q is responsible for coupling between the cavity and coupling path. Such Q is called as QL. So this is all about the cavity resonator. Thank you.